Money did not begin as power. It began as a tool. Over time, that tool changed, not because money changed, but because the systems around it did. Every law, every crisis, every expansion left its mark. To understand where we are today, we need to understand how we got here.
Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about something you've probably got in your wallet right now, but I bet you haven't thought much about how it came to be. Paper money. Its origin story? It's not just about economics. It's really this incredible lesson about the power and the fragility of human trust.
No, really. Go ahead and pull out a bill if you have one. Look at it. It's just a piece of paper, right? So what on earth gives it any value? How can you trade that for, a cup of coffee or even a brand new phone? Well, the answer takes us way back to a time when having a lot of money was, surprisingly, a very heavy problem.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in China during the Tang and Song dynasties. Business is absolutely booming. Trade is exploding. Merchants are making fortunes. It's a golden age. But all this success, it actually created a huge physical problem, a really clunky, heavy one.
And you can see the conflict right here. On one hand, you've got this fast-moving, expanding economy that needs to do business quickly, over huge distances. But on the other hand, the money itself was literally slowing things down. We're talking about heavy metal coins. Can you imagine trying to pay for a massive shipment with a cart full of coins? It was slow, it was dangerous to transport, and just super inefficient. The very thing that represented wealth was actually holding the economy back.
But necessity is the mother of invention. And out of this really heavy problem came an idea that was, brilliantly light. And this wasn't just some small fix. It was a full-blown revolution that was about to change the entire concept of what money even is.
And how it happened was so clever and so simple. Okay, so first, merchants got sick of dragging around these heavy chests of coins. So they started depositing them with people they trusted, maybe a guild or a prominent family. In return, they'd get a piece of paper, basically an IOU or receipt. And then came the big idea. Instead of going back to get the coins, merchants just started trading the receipts. It was way easier. The paper stood for the coins. And it worked so well that eventually the government saw what was happening, stepped in, made it official, and bam, the world's first paper money was born.
And you have to understand what a huge mental shift this was. For all of history up to this point, money was the valuable thing, the gold coin, the silver piece. But now, for the very first time, the thing in your hand wasn't the value itself. It was just a promise. It was a symbol of value held somewhere else. And that's what we now call a trust-based currency. Think about that. Its value doesn't come from the material it's made of. Its value comes entirely from a shared belief. It's our collective confidence, our trust, that someone else will accept this piece of paper in exchange for actual goods and services. The paper is worthless. The trust is everything.
So, once they had this new, super efficient, lightweight money, what happened? Well, the Chinese economy was basically unshackled. It just took off. And the results were frankly incredible.
Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. Once you get rid of that heavy anchor of metal coins, the economy was free to grow at a pace nobody had ever seen before. Trade got faster, business got bigger, the whole system just exploded. And it was all thanks to this one simple, powerful idea.
But here's the twist in the story. Every powerful new invention comes with new dangers, right? And this one came with a huge hidden risk, a temptation that no government in history had ever had to deal with before.
Just let this sink in for a second. Before paper money, the amount of money you could create was physically limited by how much gold or silver you could dig out of the ground. Simple. But now, the supply was only limited by restraint. If a ruler needed more cash, all they needed was more paper and ink. The only thing holding them back was their own self-control.
So, what do you think happens when that self-control runs out? What happens when that temptation becomes too much to resist? History was about to find out, and the answer was not pretty. And, maybe it was inevitable. Governments gave in. They needed to fund wars. They had expenses. So they just started printing more money. A lot more. And when the supply of paper money shot through the roof, each individual note became worth less and less. Suddenly, prices for everything started to skyrocket. People weren't stupid.
They realized the paper they were holding was becoming worthless. That trust, the very foundation of the whole system, just disappeared. And the entire economy collapsed.
So after all of that, the brilliant idea, the economic boom, and then the devastating collapse, what's the big lesson here? What's the moral of the story? It all boils down to one single, incredibly important point.
And it's this. Sure, paper money is way more efficient. It's a fantastic idea that can supercharge an economy, but that efficiency is built on something very fragile: trust. And that trust only holds up if the people in charge show discipline. If they don't, the whole thing falls apart.
The craziest part? This isn't just some old story from ancient China. This exact same cycle, the brilliant innovation, then the temptation to abuse it, the collapse of trust, it is played out over and over and over again all across the world throughout history. It's a lesson we seem to have to keep relearning.
So next time you pull a bill out of your wallet, take a second to really look at it. It's not just money. It's a piece of history. It's a physical symbol of this ancient, powerful, and really fragile idea. The idea that our entire economy, everything we do, is built on a foundation of trust. And that leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Centuries after this lesson was first taught, how strong is that foundation today?
History does not give instructions, it gives perspective. Money itself remains neutral. Time and interest decide whether it works for you or against you.